the Sister Mortgage Under-19 Women's National Championships. Here from the Broward County Stadium. Welcome in to all of our viewers. Match number 2 of this series. The Western winning by 10 wickets in the first game. In this one, Eastern winning the toss and electing to bowl first. First delivery is full. Both these teams will be looking to continue. For the Western, trying to get that second win and put a firm lead in this series. Tia Gonzalez and Sayuni. Bowler Aditi Chudasama. Changes at the top of the order for the Western team. We saw a 65-run partnership between the openers in the first game, Gargi Bogle and Pooja Shah. However, this is an opportunity and these young female cricketers developing, so coaching staff opting to go for 2 different openers. Let's see how they fare. Worked into the onside. So runs straight away for the Western Conference. That would be a wide. So also in for her first game, Aditi Chudasama. And she'll be looking to add to her, get some wickets and make an impression early on in these Sister Mortgage Under-19 Women's Nationals. This one edged down to short third. Got to hurry. Get home in the end. A good first over for both teams. In the end of 1, it's 2 without loss. 3. Correction without loss. So a much better start from the Eastern when you compare it to how they would have started their first game. 0 for 3 in the first over with the bat in hand. Now electing to bowl first. Early into the attack, the talented Bhumika Badaraju. And straight away off the mark. Saya Uni, the leg spinner, promoted up the top of the order today. And Tia Gonzalez for the first time in this series. We'll be looking to get their team off to a good start. A lot of batting in this Western Conference team. So grateful to Sistar Mortgage, of course, for putting the framework in place to have a series like this. Badiraju always bowls early on in the innings. Gets a lot of purchase on these surfaces, especially with this newer ball. Should be looking for that drift. Just operating, cutting that wide line. So, legal delivery. Impressive start. Oh, this time, she waits on it. Taya Gonzalez slaps it down to the boundary. Will just be two. It's a slow outfield. Gets very heavy towards closer to that boundary rope. So just the two, but positive intent being shown by Gonzalez there. So one hit to straight mid wicket for no run. So getting very close to these two. End of the second over. And if you're just joining us here at the Broward County Stadium in Lauderhill, Fort Lauderdale, the Western Conference up against the Eastern Conference. The Western Conference leading this series. And at the end of 2 overs, sent into bat. The Western Conference 6 without loss. So already seen much better start from the Eastern Conference in terms of with the ball as well. You saw Gargi Bogle really get going at the top of the order. Getting some movement there away from the right-handed apologies for that scorecard being stuck in front of the action, but no. Sashi Chetna Reddy, that's opening alongside Tia Gonzalez. Goes for a big swing. Does Reddy. Goes past the keeper, just one. So a tight start from Chudasamy, first over. Just went for 5. That would be a wide. So extras was a key component of their bowling effort, the Eastern Conference. That would have been something they would have gone in and reviewed and tried to sort of execute much better, whereas you can limit the amount of extras. It sort of just takes the pressure off of the two in the middle. Goes wide again with that. And the center of your screen, you can see umpire Mahabir. Great to have a female umpire as well involved. Would have played cricket for the USA. So all very encouraging, the direction that we're moving in. Well watched. So Chetna ready. Pagidiala. You can really see that Chudasama is getting some movement. It's evident. However, she's just trying to control it. The extras being a problem thus far. Already the third wide in the over. Much better there. But runs for the Western Conference. So just a single to end the over. It's 12 without loss. Badaraju continuing. First over just went for two. It'll be interesting to see how the captain, Lisa Ramjit, sort of balances these overs from Bhumika Badaraju because they're so valuable. To this Eastern Conference team, one of the strike bowlers in this lineup. And one thing we continue to speak about young Bhumika Badaraju is the fact that she always likes to flight deliveries, never afraid to be hit. That's something that you don't get very often in off spinners. So the fact that she's very courageous, presents herself with an opportunity to get a wicket each delivery. This one pounced upon, too short from Badaraju. Coming back for easy two. Change in field. So it's been a watchful start from Taya Gonzalez. 13 deliveries for 4. You must say credit to the Eastern bowlers who kept things very tight. Great fielding on extra cover. Ends the over. Another economical one for the Eastern at the end of 4. It's 16 without loss. Giraka Kodali into the attack. Very excited to see how she develops as one of the premier seamers in this under-19 setup. Watched her in the nets yesterday. She was lethal with her fast bowling. Once she gets it and gets in a rhythm, she can be very dangerous, Kodali. So, Lisa Ramjit just juggling her bowlers at this stage. Run rate well under control. Just going out over 4 runs. And in the power play, you would say Ramjit would definitely take that. Yeah, Kodali straying once again. Remember, this is the Sistar Mortgage Under-19 Women's National Championships. If you're tuning in on YouTube, welcome. Or you can come down to the ground free of charge here at the Broward County Stadium in Lauderhill. Much better. Played. Chance of a run out. Good running between the wickets by these two. Into the 5th over. They want to get a move on. Got a lot of batting to come. This is a T20 encounter, remember. Continuing to turn over the strike. Exactly what the captain of the Western Conference would want, Annika Colin. Yeah, a lot of extras in this innings thus far. Something for the Eastern Conference and to definitely work on, judging by what we've seen today. Trying to play that cut shot. Wasn't anywhere close to it. Gonzalez. So she's just getting a bit bogged down here, Taya Gonzalez. So just expect something to happen. The infield is in. Power play over is just 1 remaining after this. And we know the importance of maximizing the power play. 4th wide of the over, so extras on offer for the Western Conference. Plays straight to extra cover for a dot ball, end of 5. 1 over of this power play remaining. It's 23 without loss. Interesting. Badaraju into her 3rd over. Both overs coming in the power play. She's only gone for 6 runs. Phenomenal. This time, though, she will go for some runs. This has been hit really well from Chetna Reddy, and it finds the boundary. So much needed for the Western. They've got wickets in hand. Now trying to kick on this innings into another gear. Yeah, Reddy now into double figures. Much better adjustment from Badiraju. She's not used to going for many boundaries, so when she does, it's always interesting to see how she comes back and rebounds from it. Chance of a run out. Umpire uninterested. Good. Some miscommunication, but Reddy was good enough with her bat down, grounded, to get in on that occasion. So could have been very crucial to the scheme of things. Flighting it again, Badiraju. So Reddy, besides that initial boundary, hasn't been able to score very freely in this over. Goes full. Excellent bowling from young Bhumika Badiraju. She's really a phenom of this under-19 national setup. I'm going to be one that will be tracking her progress as she grows in her career. Just 16 years old. Full. Reddy connects straight to the mid-wicket. It's just an easy one. And that ends the over. So at the end of 6, the first power play. Pretty balanced start. The Western Conference, 29 without loss. Spin from both ends. So only the one over of Girika Kodali, trying to find a rhythm with the wides. 4 in that over. In comes Taranam Chopra. Starts very well in these initial 2 deliveries. They've been pretty consistent, you must say, the bowlers of this Eastern Conference. Some thinking for the West to do. Of course, they've got wickets in hand. Chetna Reddy. Pagi Diala has been there for a while. She's well set. It's more about Taya Gonzalez getting some runs under her belt. On the back foot this time. Another dot delivery. They're trying to build some pressure, the Eastern Conference. And you must say succeeding at this stage. narrowly, almost back on her stumps. Taya Gonzalez. So what will she do here? Does she just get a single or does she look for the boundary? Still no fielders in the outfield, so could be very interesting. On the front foot this time. Another dot delivery. Great over to start for Taranam Chopra. Just the one wide from it. 30 without loss after 7. So after 3 overs of Badiraju, the captain, Lisa Ramsey, opting to go for seam from the other end. A change of ends for Kadali. Great fielding at point to restrict a certain boundary. So first boundary for the Western Conference coming, well, not the first really, the second boundary coming, much needed at this stage. So Taya Gonzalez finally is able to break the shackles, get some much needed runs for this Western Conference team. Girika Kodali just hasn't been herself today. That's yet. And I'm pleased to announce that I've got a very special guest alongside me, Farah Gorsey, the ICC Americas Development Manager. Farah, welcome to the Broward County Stadium. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, I'm just taking in the fantastic cricket we've got in front of us.
Yes.
The Western against the Eastern. Kodali, much better on that occasion. How have you enjoyed the overall under-19, seeing these young female cricketers, you know, go out there and sort of put their talent on display with a chance of trying to make that national team?
Yeah, it's refreshing, somewhat inspiring, and it should be to the young American girls who want to get involved in the sport of cricket. But just to watch this and sit back and just to watch some raw talent now that we haven't ever seen before, not certainly in my time, I love it. I'm enjoying every minute of this and taking in that this is our future for the Americas in cricket.
Yes, and you know, you speak about the Americas, obviously with your position as the ICC Americas Development Manager. Before I even ask you about it, what sort of does a development manager look to and focus on?
A whole host. Very good question, but a whole host of opportunities to develop the game of cricket within the region, whether that be high performance, athlete management, whether it be capacity building services to help members off field.
Sorry to interrupt, Farah. This one into the boundary again. This is turning out to be a very good over. Just what the Western Conference would have needed. Another boundary coming from the bowling of Girika Kodali, using the pace on that occasion. Good batting. You were saying, Farah?
Yeah, so women's cricket, high performance, we look at helping and assisting members in terms of how we can best resource them to grow the name of cricket and also on field through, as you know, ICC events. So a whole host, but very good question.
Yes, and we will get back to that after this delivery from Kodali. Much better. We can't afford to give that width because Chetna Reddy was ready to pounce, pun intended. Farah, it's interesting because when someone hears about your role, they might think it's just cricket in the US. We end the over after 8. The Western Conference 40 without loss. But you actually focus on cricket from all the way from Canada straight down to Chile. So how is it that you already manage all those countries?
Yeah, so it is 16 members. So these are 16 ICC associate members. And we manage the growth and development, whether it be on field, whether it be off field. I have a team. I have a finance operations officer and a development officer. And there's 3 in our team. We do work along the clock, different time zones. But I guess it comes from the passion of wanting to grow the game. And whatever that entails in terms of products, training and education, coaching, umpiring courses, to running mother and daughter legacy programs or creating programs. There is also a complete one end of the spectrum. We have North America, where cricket's now grown and known over the years, and then you have South America, where there's no visibility and there's challenges to be able to bring cricket to the surface with our South American members. And within the 16 members, there's different levels of cricket being played, cricket being grown in these countries. And our job is to ultimately help the members, help them in whatever capacity to drive the game forward.
Turnham Chopra, if you missed it, back into the attack. Her first over just went for 1. But clearly in the last couple of overs, last 5 overs, that run rate has been almost 5.5. So these two at the crease, it took some time to get in. But once they did, clearly they're showing the effects of being comfortable at the crease, just taking some time to acclimatize to conditions. But Chopra's kept it very economical. Like Badiraju, flighting deliveries. They run hard between the wickets, this pair, and get home in the end. And if we continue to speak about cricket overall, let's focus now on the US, because obviously we are here at the Sistar Mortgage USA Women's National Under-19 Championships. What have you made of the overall development of USA cricket over the years, watching it grow from stride to stride, and sort of the importance of growing USA cricket to the ICC?
Yes. It is one of our priority markets, and that is also, if you look at it geographically and economically, it's a benefit, but also in terms of growing the game at a vast audience such as the US, it's important for us. If we look at over the years and the growth and development of USA cricket, it's in heaps and bounds. From having a high performance team and purely focusing on the high performance of the game to now looking at young under 19 national championship is a huge accomplishment. And it does, and I guess behind the scenes, not everybody gets to see the hard work that USA Cricket have put over the years to even have a tournament of such nature that we're witnessing now. That it's very challenging, and in the challenging times, it's been fantastic to see how far they have come. And I can only say that moving forward, that USA Cricket, whether it be in men's high performance, whether it be in women's, whether it be training and education or school program, will grow from strength to strength. I believe they have the right people around the table, and they have the right expertise, the levels of expertise required to progress the game in the US. And I, for one, am excited to see USA progress.
43 without loss. Yeah, and it's an interesting point you make, Farah, in the sense that as we see Lisa Ramjet, the captain, into the attack. I was making the point earlier that in where I'm from, I'm from Barbados, and if you look at the broader West Indies region, we don't have many things like this where you have a national championship happening. Obviously, we do have periodically the national championships in the sense that you may get under 19 cricket, but when it comes to regional at the women's game, you more find senior teams battling it out. So the fact that they've even been able to schedule this chance of a run out at the bowler's end, but a missed field. I think, the level of professionalism that's gone in behind this tournament and making it happen, thanks to Sistar Mortgage as well, who's put that domestic pathway in place, really is fantastic to see for the overall development of cricket. And if we, now that we're focusing on the women's game, Farah, what do you think sort of is the ceiling or the potential for the women's game? Just half-hearted appeal there, maybe a sliding down leg. The potential for the women's game in the US and looking towards some of those bigger tournaments down the line.
Yeah, I'd say the global stage is a huge host of opportunities, and for USA Cricket and for the women's game, for the under-19 game here as well, there is this platform waiting for these youngsters to come and perform. So yeah, how long is a piece of string, I guess, in this question, that there is so many opportunities, and we as ICC would like to and are striding towards spearheading women's game at the next level as being the ultimate game to be participating in. With USA Cricket, from watching this tournament at the moment, and as you say, and I should actually add to the Sistar Mortgage, that it's companies like Sistar Mortgage that enable us to grow the game and support USA Cricket and bring that partnership forward that we are now witnessing. But I think there's a huge host of opportunities. We have the Under-19s World Cup in 2023. There will be a regional pathway event leading to that. Now, looking at these youngsters, I'm excited. There's not many teams in the Americas that we have Under-19s, and to see our own first Under-19 team being developed just through sheer domestic tournaments is absolutely something to be proud of and something to be excited for the future.
The first ever Under-19 Women's Cricket World Cup slated for 2023. That's going to be very exciting. Speak to the magnitude of that, Farah, to have an event like that. Let's hope it actually goes through come 2023, but just the fact that that's being put in place, I think it speaks volumes to the overall development of cricket, at the youth and senior level.
Yes, absolutely. We are striving and pushing forward for the growth of women and girls game, and who better the next generation to start this. And so as we have promised, we don't want to just keep saying that, yes, we are supporting the women's game. We are putting our money where our mouth is and saying, yes, we will support it, we will have a World Cup, and that ultimately pushes regions and globally members to start introducing the game to young girls and putting that investment into the girls' game. So I think for us it's a big stride forward. It's astonishing that we in this day and age are not looking at our young women to participate and go to the next level. And for something as huge as ICC have done, I think there is an opportunity for all young girls to have that dream come true and be on that global stage, and definitely here with USA Cricket today.
If you're now joining us, Farah Gorsey, the ICC America's Development Manager. Great to have you for sure, Farah, getting some very insightful information. So we just look back to the cricket. It's been a initial slow start for the Women's Western and miscommunication. They'll be very disappointed with that. Just looking to up the ante a bit. And a run out. Looks to be Chetna Reddy walking back. So not ideal for this situation if you're the Western Conference. Are you speaking to that run out, Farah? Do you not fancy some cricket commentary as well? Come on, it can't all be administrative.
This is my first stint. Maybe I'm a rookie to all this. So I've been watching cricket since I was yay high and back in England, and I've loved. And actually, it's nice to see women commentary now, and You know, we are respected within the game, and so we can commentate. But my skills in that level are desirable.
I promise
Thinking you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. But I promise you, it's not as hard as people think. So, not the greatest of running between the wickets there. And it results in a wicket going down, the first for the Western Conference. Just wait for confirmation on which batter, but from my view, it looks like it was Taya Gonzalez. So she's gone for 14, 44 without loss. And I know I don't have you for a long time, Farah, so I want to get in all the points I would have had to ask you. We mentioned that under 19 World Cup, but before we even get there, the ICC regional qualifiers. You know, obviously it's been something that has had tremendous challenge with the COVID-19 pandemic. It's affected all of cricket, really. What are some of the difficulties that the ICC has faced in trying to get the men's, the women's, the under 19 events played, you know, with this COVID-19 pandemic surrounding?
Ultimately, our goal is to be able to host the games, have cricket played in the most securest environments, but the pandemic hasn't helped in any shape or form in this case, and especially when it's been challenging to be able to organize under 19s, women's and men's. As you know, in the Americas region, we have the opportunity to have 3 events this year, but with the vaccinations in South America, with quarantine periods, it just seems to be, I believe, every day is a new decision made by 16 different members, 16 different countries, as you can imagine. And then if you look at that on a higher level with ICC and the globally, then there's 104 members to then consider in terms of events. But for our own regional events, it probably has been the most challenging to wanting to...
Dropped. Sorry to interrupt, Farah, but return catch by Chopra, put down. That could be a big chance. The wicket of Snig Paul promoted up the order today.
So yeah, it's been overall very challenging. Given the circumstances, we are still trying to be able to host events in the most securest environments and allow cricket to be played and people to get back to what they love doing and performing in this case. But we are still very much in the early stages of trying to host 2 more events, which is the men's and the women's, towards the end of this year.
We look forward to seeing if those happen. Obviously very excited the way cricket is moving in the US. A lot of cricket, and we're grateful that we have this platform that even if you're around the world, you can still view the cricket on, of course, things like YouTube, etc. Using her feet, unable to pounce on that gap. Ready, and away from all the questions and, you know, the political and administrative information, how have you personally enjoyed it, Farah, being in this role?
I've been in this role almost, actually I'm coming up towards the end of my 4th year.
Wow.
And because I enjoy the game, and I'd say it's genetics, because my father is an umpire at his local cricket club, and we've been brought up with cricket for many, many years, that it's not really a job as such or work. I love what I do because I love wanting to grow the game, and if it's putting a platform out there for women to be in this role, then I would highly recommend this. So yeah, I ultimately, it's enjoying what I do and getting paid for it.
Yeah, that's the perfect world situation. And you know, you keep mentioning sort of the women's role in cricket, etc. What is sort of the ICC's importance and stance on developing the women's game as we see Lisa Ramjit back into the attack? Why is it important for the ICC to grow the women's game?
I guess I could ask you, the question is, why wouldn't it be important? Because if we have the men's game, why not let the women enjoy a sport that they ultimately love and perform? For us, we as ICC, we've looked at now, as we've said, the World Cup, the Under-19s World Cup in 2023. But only a few months ago, we introduced the first ever Future Leaders program, which was under the campaign of 100% cricket. And I was part of the project team and still am, that within the 100% project, the 100% cricket project, we are looking at ways of where we can advance women within the game, whether it's administration, whether it's coaching, whether you're a player, to be able to bring you to that next level. The Future Leaders program, in this case, offers women around the world to be able to receive support and a mentor from cricket who has made the next level or who is at the next level in terms of growth in their personal development as leaders within the game. And within that, we've had within our own, in the Americas region, there's been 3 successful applicants, and one of them has been Nadia from USA Cricket, who is currently on the mentee, mentored by ICC Chairman Greg Barclay. So we are looking at every opportunity for women, whether it be on field or off field, to help them grow.
Yeah, excellent. Really, it's great to hear as they're camping for the second, these two, and partnership beginning to develop nicely. Well, it's past the 11th over now, just passing 50. So, got wickets in hand. You expect that launching platform to sort of come very soon. This is a very deep Western Conference batting lineup. Did you ever think, Farah, that you would be involved in cricket down the line, and not even only in cricket, but cricket in the USA, of course, when you were growing up?
No, never. I love the sport. I'm passionate about helping people. I'm passionate about helping people achieve their goals. But in context of cricket, never thought this would be something I would be doing. No.
Yeah, often how it works out, but great to hear from you, and obviously see you in this role. Expecting massive things from the ICC in the sense of, cricket upcoming out, obviously recently announcing that 2028 Olympics. It would be so amazing to watch cricket in the Olympics. It would be a massive deal for so many.
Yes, I think it's now, if anything, I don't know if you've watched any of the Olympics, but I've been keeping up with the latest and the greatest in Tokyo was the skateboarding, the BMX, and I think it's at a fitting time. Cricket has put the bid in for 2028, 2032, because it's the new era. The youngsters, the young, refreshing, raw talent coming through, and why not? I think Tokyo this year has been all about young, new sports coming in, new passions, and why not cricket? So ecstatic to hear that we will be in the Olympics, and it's probably the question that I was asked over the last 2 weeks, probably the most. Why isn't cricket in the Olympics? So I look forward to it with everyone else, to utilising the Olympic platform to bring this great game that we call cricket to the next level.
And those Olympics obviously slated for 2028 in Los Angeles. Very looking forward to that. Annika Kumar comes into the attack. The Eastern, you must say, have done an excellent job just restricting and keeping this run rate to a bare minimum. Just under 5 runs and over now. Sling the Paul. She's ran hard between the wickets. What have you sort of taken away from watching this cricket today, Farah?
I guess I'm looking at the youngsters, these young girls, and looking at so much potential, opportunities here, and looking at, I guess, the next generation of women's cricket in the US. And I'm actually blown away about the talent. And to see that a few years ago we didn't have this, or we didn't have the opportunity to see these girls, is it's fantastic to see today. And hopefully I'll have an opportunity to speak to some of these youngsters and these ladies and pass on some words of encouragement.
I'm sure they'll look to you as someone that they can gain that inspiration from, given what you've been able to achieve. Annika Kumar trying to get this wicket. Chetna already, she's gone well. 27 deliveries for 20, but the extras have not assisted. The Eastern Conference already at 16 extras. Way too many, you would think. Without them, that score would be at 40. So some work to be done in terms of the consistency of the Eastern Conference. Good seam position on that occasion. Good running, though, between the wickets. They haven't been able to find the boundary with regularity, but important thing is they've run hard between the wickets since the introduction of Snigdha. On the back foot this time, Paul. Again, miscommunication in the middle this time, not resulting in any wicket. That one keeping very low. Anika Kumar, she was confident. Interesting lack of bounce on that occasion. Yeah, we have seen this about this surface. Remember, we did have a game earlier today on this pitch, so it'll be interesting to see when the Western bowl and when the Eastern are to bat, how it plays. This one gets connection straight to the fielder, just one. And Farah, obviously you work in close connection with USA Cricket. How has it been, that sort of relationship?
With all my members, we have a great working relationship, and it's a collaboration and a partnership in this case. We assist where we can, we provide resources where we can, and in this case with USA Cricket and working with Ian and his team, there's some fantastic personalities and individuals that want to leave a legacy for USA Cricket and for cricket in the USA. I like to think we have a good working relationship, and we are there to support and USA Cricket to reach out as and when they require that sport, but ultimately for us to be there to provide the sport as and when as it's required as well. So I'd say, yeah, we have a really good working relationship, and they are one of the priority markets for ICC and ICC Americas.
If we could speak to the Sistar Mortgage domestic pathway put in place, Farah, in the sense that you have the regional setup, then to the Intra-National, then to the Nationals, then senior team, etc. Is that sort of being a development officer the right way to go about things in the sense of developing cricket from strike to strike?
Sorry, I didn't.
No, just speaking towards the pathway.
Yes.
How effective really is that, having those different stages to go from the intra-regionals to the regionals, then to the nationals, etc., building all the way up to the senior team?
Absolutely. I apologize. I didn't understand your question, but
No
I
problem.
do now. Yes. And having this tournament is a step in the right direction to that pathway, because as you know, if we have pathways following a system, systematically follows through, and you begin with your new raw talent, and you coach them, you mentor them throughout the process, then with the level of expertise on the ground becomes that personal development role as well. So pathways through these interzonals, or whether it's domestic, is not only helping the game and improving and going from strength to strength, but also for the players' professional development as well. And having those opportunities to be able to perform at the highest of your game is an ultimate dream for every player, whether they walk into a cricket club or whether they start cricket at a school.
Full toss, Snigdha. Starting to the deep, will just be a single. She'll be disappointed she missed out there. And you mentioned about the schools. How sort of close in all of your member nations do you think cricket is to getting more in these schools? Because obviously that's where these young children spend their most time.
Yes. It's a try from ICC, and I guess a try from us as a region to be able to support the member in discussions with their local government there's many members that have cricket on the educational system, and they do play cricket regularly, but the countries that are struggling to have that as part of their curriculum, should I say, we have created the training and education piece for schools as well. So not only are we supporting members through resources, through discussions with the local governments, we are also creating the curriculum for them to be able to utilize within the schools, and that way that somehow becomes an easier discussion when you have a document or you have the curriculum to hand over to the schools, so they are not having that time to be able to produce the curriculum. But it's something that I encourage my members, and I would encourage, because as you know, when you go to school and you have your physical education session, that if you're given the opportunity to have fun with a bat and ball, and cricket being the ultimate sport, then there's going to be more sustainability further down the road if they enjoy the game. But definitely give them the opportunity to have that first fun, free experience.
Well, just saw 3 being run there. Some great cricket on display. These two in the middle. Partnership now 21 from just 19 deliveries. Gonna let you go very soon, Farah. I know you're very busy. That'll be another wide. Anything finally on what we can expect from the ICC Americas in the near future? Of course, so many big tournaments, international tournaments upcoming. What can we expect in terms of the development of the game at that level?
I think from us as a region, it's something that I would love to see USA Cricket, Canada, Bermuda, all playing, all my 16 members playing at the highest level of the game, but also with that being able to sustain cricket throughout their countries with the youth, and hopefully invest. And I say hopefully because not many members see the investment in women's cricket. But as we're seeing right here and witnessing today, that USA Cricket spearheading for our region is putting the investment, bringing in along a partner to enjoy the journey of women's cricket, is what I would like to see from all of my members and from all the regions as well. So, and we as ICC Americas and as ICC are there to support our members and there to support people who enjoy the game and bring in new fans to the game, and be able to keep them. I think the retaining cricket fans, whether they are older cricket fans, whether they're youth coming through, is just as important as playing these games.
Farah Gorsi, thank you so much. The ICC Americas Development Officer. It's really been a pleasure to have you, and very excited to see, based on what you would have just said, how cricket moves forward throughout the member countries, of course, and obviously in the USA as well.
Thank you so much for your time.
69 for 1. Well, on resumption, a boundary off the bowling of Anika Kumar. So the runs beginning to flow. Chetna Reddy's been there for a long time, and Snigdhapal's come up with that aggressive intent in her batting, and it's really paid dividends for this Western Conference. 6 overs remaining. So looking to kick on in this innings now into gear number 2. Also speaks well to the depth of batting in this Western Conference team. The fact that they could go to 2 new openers and have someone like a Chetna Reddy in the second game put her hand up and get runs with the bat. She's played a critical innings, getting her team to a good solid start, and now trying to kick on with Snigdhapal. Haven't even gone to Isani Vaghela as yet, one of their best batsmen in the Western Conference. So on a short, Paul really slaps that. She hits the ball with a lot of power. It's actually Snigdha Reddy. Chetna Reddy. Correction. So both of these at the crease. We'll be very pleased with the contribution thus far. However, Coach Mario Rampasad will know the job far from over. Oh, look at this. Yes, Chetna Reddy opens up Squeezes that past square leg. Second boundary in the over. Really turning on the afterburners now. That run rate continues to increase. She also moves into the 30s. Extras and more extras. The wides have been immense for the Eastern Conference. Not ideal. You already saw in that first game today, they weren't their best with the ball in hand. Now here again, extras have just been too much, even after a good start in those first 10 overs. Goes short and out. Finally a wicket for Anika Kumar. Nishka Kumar, correction. And it's the big one of Chetna Reddy just when she was looking to kick on. Already had 2 boundaries in the over. Not sure if that was what was required. Nonetheless, it's been an important innings from her. So Chetna Reddy, Pagi Diala gone for 35. A crucial contribution though to the scheme of this game. It's 81 now for 2. In comes Ritu Singh at number 4. Looking now, it's really business time. 2 deliveries, and then we've got 5 overs remaining in this innings. That 120 score you would think is par. Good surface to bat on. Could be a bit tricky though with the bounce. We've seen that variable bounce at times. It is a hard deck. When you look at it, you see that shine on the surface. Really, it's hard and dry, so Bhumika Badaraju still has an over up her sleeve. Likewise, Taranam Chopra just conceded the 8 in her 3 overs. Wanted a wide there, Singh. So, a successful over finally for the Eastern Conference. At the end of 15, it's 81 for 2. So it's Girika Korali, the premier seamer of this Eastern team today. Not her usual self. Usually she's very aggressive attacking at those stumps. She's been off the boil in her first 2 overs. Just going to over 8 runs and over. So now, Lisa Ramjit trusting in her to produce a wicket. They need the wicket of Snigdha Paul. She hits it disdainfully. And she'll be so dangerous the longer Snigdha Paul bats in these last 5 overs. It'll be interesting to see how they execute their plans, bowling at Paul. But when she connects, it really goes to the boundary. This one edged down to 3rd. Interesting field placing. That 3rd sort of 3/4 way. Not sure why. It's still a single, so it could be on the boundary. Alicia Fernando it is. So we're Singh, just new to the crease, just 3 deliveries thus far. On the pads, clips this one away. Gotta hurry. This could be a run out. A direct hit. And umpire Mahabir says no. The big strides of Snigdha Paul getting her home on that occasion. This has been a good over though. Just the 2 runs from it. Critical at this stage. Of course, in the last 5 overs, we know fast they go by and how valuable of a time it is. So you would think, given the fact that the Western Conference were able to restrict the East for just 64 in the first innings, if they can get to that 120 score, they'll feel confident of defending it. They've got a strong bowling attack. Oh yes, rocket to the boundary. Snigdha Paul, when she connects with it out the middle of the bat, it's very hard to stop. She's lethal at this stage of the innings. Gets a much needed boundary for her team. That run rate now increasing closer to 6 runs per over. Fishing at that one, Snigdha Paul. She won't want to do that because the previous delivery was wide. She got her right foot close to that delivery and slapped it away. So, end of the over and a very good one for the Western Conference. 6 coming from it. It's 87 for 2 after 16. So if you're now joining us, welcome to the Broward County Stadium here in Lauderhill, the Sistar Mortgage USA Under-19 Women's National Championships. The Western Conference team batting, sent in 87 for 2 after 16 overs. This is Nishka Kumar. Actually, no, it's Kasturi Vedantam, and they steal a quick single. So Vedantam into the attack. Really will have to do a good job to restrict Snigdha Paul. 3 fielders on the boundary. The captain, Lisa Ramjet, at long on. We've got a deep mid-wicket in place as well as the cover. So pretty defensive field from Ramjet. Trying to get that down the ground. Good start from Vedantam. This one in the air and should be taken, and is the big wicket of Snigdapal. Kasturi Vedantam strikes. Kirika Kodali makes no mistake. A leading edge puts an end to the knock from Snigdapal. It was just beginning to increase in pace, and a big wicket taken. So the Western Conference lose their third. Now 88 for 3. Paul gone for 16. Isani Vaikela is the new batter in at number 5. Probably would have been asked to come down the order of Vaikela based on the fact that we've seen so much from her at the national championships. Of course, getting a half century in one of the 50 over games. She was so impressive to watch, young Isani Vaikela. So with these being the national championships, want to give some others a chance. Good running between the wickets. She does that almost perfectly, Vaikela. Very quick. Now comes in at a different time to where she's used to, and has got to propel this innings into another phase, trying to get up to that 120 mark. Ends the over though, so she'll have to wait. At the end of 17 overs, 89 for 3. So it looks to be the captain, Lisa Ramjit. Bring herself back into the attack. How will she fare? Will be interesting. So Vaikela finally gets on strike. Just the 2 overs for Ramjit. Surprisingly, you expect her now to finish, close out things for the Eastern team with 3 overs remaining. So just the 7 runs for Lisa Ramjit conceded. It's almost like that miss reliable for this team. In the air, chance of a catch, just falling short. That was the wicket they would have wanted. Isani Vaikela. So Lisa Ramjit, so difficult to hit because of the pace off the ball. There again, you really got to wait. Narrowly missing that leg stump. Isani Vaikela would have faced her a couple of times. And trying to get the elevation on it to go over the top. You've got to really wait on it. This one wide. Just got to bowl that over Lisa Ramjit. In the air and dropped. So it's Sunny Vaghela trying to get a move on through the hands of that field at mid-wicket. 2 crucial runs. How costly could that be? Sunny Vaghela, we know her to be a very prolific player at this stage of the innings. Clearly looking to score freely. You can tell her intent. And Lisa Ramjit, because of this slow nature, so difficult to hit. Goes full. Beautiful drive from Vaghela. Will just be 1. They want 2. Will not get it. Trying to go big is Ritu Singh. Hasn't been able to get the ball away. 9 deliveries for 3. Dot ball to end the over. 2 remain. It's 94 for 3. So just the 1 over for Kasturi Vedantam. Kind of surprising, given that she just conceded 1 run and got a wicket as well. Into the attack, Taranam Chopra. Amazing 3 overs from her thus far. Just 8 runs conceded. Trying to finish things up now for this Eastern team. We'll want to keep these last 2 overs very tight. Has to wait on it there. Vaghela wants to into the gap. Got to hurry. And they're coming back. So good running by Ritu Singh. Going to the danger end. Calls straight away to get that 2. Full toss through the straight mid wicket. Vaghela connects with that one well, comes back for another 2. So kicking on this part of the innings. She want to be there for every delivery, face every delivery if she could as well. She's just that type of player, always wants to be in the action. Annika Colin, the captain, you can see her with pads on. Trying to pull that one. Vaghela disappointed. Much slower Taranam Chopra, so got to really wait on her. 2 slow bowlers operating from each end. Lisa Ramjit, now Chopra. Goes full. This one is in the air and just over the point fielder, so another life for Vaghela. Just the 1 over remaining after this. That 120 does look a far way to get, but they'll try, no doubt. Need a big last over. Really well bowled. Ritu Singh unable to get it away. So ends the over at the end of 19. 99 for 3. Clearly liking her spin options, Lisa Ramjit. She goes to Bhumika Badaraju for the final over of this innings, 99. The Western Conference had a slow start, picked up things through the middle, thanks to Chetna Reddy. Wow, this one is big. And goes all the way for 6. This is the power of this young girl. Isani Vaghela, such a talent. What a start to the over. Playing the slog sweep, courageous stroke. Don't see many of those in this Sistar Mortgage Under 19 Women's Nationals. A maximum for Vaghela. Picked the length early, went big. How does she go for ball number 2? Using her feet and stumped. Bhumika Badaraju wins the battle. Big wicket. But the damage you could say is partially done. Great bowling. This is why I love to watch Bhumika Badaraju. Flighted delivery again. And trying to use her feet there, Isani Vaghela was unable to do so. So wicket goes down. And at the end of 4 wickets go down for the Western. 4 deliveries remain in this innings. So Badaraju picking up her first wicket. And the big one of Isani Vaghela. If she stayed there, you never know. That 120 could have been very probable. In comes the captain, Annika Kolan. She'll want to get back on strike. Just be one though. So good bowling from young Bhumika Badaraju. They'll bat themselves to defend this total. Earlier today, remember restricting the Eastern Conference to 64 for 8 in 20 overs. And that will be fresh in their minds. Goes big with this one, Ritu Singh. There's a fielder in the deep. Will just be a single. Into the gap. Good shot. 1-2. The captain, Annika Collins, should get it pretty easily. Looking for the third. Will not be, though. This is really good bowling. After that initial 6 from the first delivery of Badaraju's over. Just conceding. Getting the wicket and then conceding 4 runs. So, impressive stuff. Final delivery coming up. 109 for 4. Bhumika Badaraju, can she get a wicket? And can Annika Kolan capitalize with a boundary? Flighted into the onside, should get another 2 here. They'll run hard. That's all it will be. So, good effort from the Western Conference in this Sistar Mortgage Under 19 National Championship. Getting to 111 for 4. Just verifying the correct score for you. Yeah, 111 for 4 in there, 20 overs. And look at the scorecard for the Western team. It was a good start from Chetna Reddy. Taya Gonzalez, she's tried to get things going towards the end of her innings. Snigdha Paul was great to watch with her 16. Ritu Singh, just a 4 not out, and Isani Vaikela with that big 6 getting 14. For the bowlers, well, Lisa Ramjet will be happy with the way her bowlers went about things. Wickets for Bhumika Badaraju, Nishka Kumar, and Kasturi Vedantam. But Ramjet will need her batters to really go out there and apply some initiative with the bat in hand. A much improved effort is needed. So when we return, don't go anywhere. The Western Conference will need to defend this total. The Eastern, well, they'll need 112 to go 1-all in this series. Back here at the Broward County Stadium, 20 overs remain, 112 the target. Back here at Broward County Stadium. $112, the score to get for the Women's Eastern and Central Conference. They'll be looking to improve on their initial performance of 64 for 8 in 20 overs. Yeah, they need to improve drastically if they're to get over the line. So first delivery runs straight away for the Eastern Conference. Giovanna Arras operating from the southern end. Again, goes down the leg side, and again, more runs. Disha Dengra, Aditi Chudasama in the middle. Not a great start from Giovanna Arras. Much better line there. And if you're now tuning in, the Western Conference were sent into bat, got 111 in the first innings. Disha Dengra hits this one to cover. I think Disha Dengra will have a crucial part to play in this run chase. A very skillful player at the top of the order. They were lucky to get the wicket of Dengra in the first over in the last game. And they'll want to follow up on a performance similar. Another dot delivery just was needed. Giovanna Arras bowling for the first time in these national championships. Of course, the Sistar Mortgage Under-19 National Championships 2021. That would be another wide. So Aras got to be very careful. The extras was a place where we saw the Eastern Conference fall down. In their innings, they gave away 23 extras. So already adding to that score, you can imagine what it would be if those were cut by half at least. So ends the first over finally at the end of one. It's 5 without loss. The spin of Taya Gonzalez into the attack early on for the Western Conference. Again, I don't say that off stump. Something that both these teams will need to work on, the amount of extras they're giving away. Much better line that occasion from Gonzalez. She want to flight the deliveries. It's interesting because she's got that leg spin action, but when you look at the way the ball comes out of her hand, it's more like an off break. So it can be complex to face Taya Gonzalez. Already operating on that fourth stump line, proving valuable thus far. 2 dot balls in succession. Again, in that region, and another dot delivery. So Gonzalez ends the first over. Just the 2 extras conceded. At the end of 2, good start for both teams, 7 without loss. So both these batsmen yet to get off mark, just scored their runs in extras. Disha Dhingra, she will hold the key. Was part of that Eastern Conference team at the Women's National Championships last week. Giovanna Aras continuing. Much better in terms of the line of that delivery. And it's interesting, you look at the field. These are the power play overs, but very rarely do you see any fielders outside the circle. So it sort of shows you how this cricket is played very aggressively. 2, of course, in these first 6 overs allowed outside that circle, the 30-yard circle. Another dot delivery. Chance of a run out at the keeper's end. Gotta hurry. Gets home in the end. Miscommunication yet again. That would have been disastrous. Already saw a run out causing the problem for the Eastern Conference in the first game. Won't want to follow up on that. Need to get that communication correct. So much better over this from Giovanna Aras. Been very consistent these first 4 deliveries. And yes, it is a score where they need to score less than a run of ball, but still won't want it to come down too close for the Eastern Conference. These 2 batters taking their time. Another dot delivery. This is really good bowling from the Western Conference and Aras. Working this one into the onside, straight to square leg. Chance of a run out. Could have been close. Some collision there in the end, but finally runs off the bat to end the over. So at the end of 3, it's 8 without loss. So it will be Taya Gonzalez to continue into her second over. Been a watchful start, that's for the Eastern Conference. However, the difference will be that they've not lost any wickets. They can set themselves up. Still got the captain, Lisa Ramjit, to come, of course. Beautiful delivery from Taya Gonzalez, beating the inner portion of the bat there. Can she prize a wicket for her team? Another wide delivery. Need to get this right. More runs for Disha Dingra. Through the covers. Won't get to the boundary. It'll just be 2. Straight back to the bowler. So ends another over. Need that first wicket, the Western Conference, but they've kept them quiet. End of 4, it's 11 without loss. Just the 2 overs of Giovanna Aras. Going for 6 runs. In comes, it looks like Isani Vaikela. No, it's not. Suhani Thadani from a change of ends. Interesting to see how she goes. Actually, no. Correction. It's Chetna Reddy, who was so efficient with the bat in hand. Now, can she make an impact with the ball? Got very similar action to Thadani. Fluent run up. That left arm falling away a bit. Started well, though. This has been a good power play. Just the 11 runs conceded. And that required run rate will increase. Gone past 6 runs and over now. This one dabbed straight to the point fielder. I just wonder if the weight is sort of getting too heavy on Disha Dengra's shoulders, because she hasn't really played her natural flowing game in the sense that usually she's a player that likes to play her shots. Now just 3 from 18 deliveries, and you just wonder if maybe, knowing that there's not a tremendous amount of depth to come. However, you still want her to play freely and score runs, be an asset for her team. This will help. Aditi Chudasama finally gets off the mark. And a good way to end the over. So at the end of 5, 1 over remains in the power play. Just 1 run from the over. It's 12 without loss. With 1 over remaining in the power play, Julia Price, the USA Women's National Head Coach, joins me. Julia, a slow but steady start from the Eastern Central Conference.
Yeah, it's probably not what we're looking for at the moment. We really want to see that intent to score, and the bowling hasn't been spectacular in the fact that it's restricting everyone's scoring opportunities. I just think there needs to be a lot more intent. There's, as with the seniors, we really wanted to see those, the drop and runs and the singles in the infield, which we haven't really seen too much of, particularly when they've got the field sitting back a fair bit. So just a few little things to be able to continue to work on. It's obviously the same sort of issues that we're experiencing in the senior game as well. And the beauty of being able to see these under-19 girls is we can actually start instilling these sort of styles of play that we're looking for in them pretty early.
Yeah, and the 111 for 4 sort of by the Western Conference. What did you make of that innings itself?
I think they accelerated pretty well towards the end there. They had some hitters in there. I think it's probably just that clarity of role and making sure that people understand what sort of strike rates we're looking at, what's their role when they come in there. Are they the hitter? Are they the person that stays out there? Even then, you sort of would like to see them calling off the bat a little bit more. So just slight indication that at the moment they're not quite, they haven't quite probably got a clear batting plan, where I think probably early in the innings for the West, it was probably a little clearer about what they were trying to do.
Yeah, that run rate continues to increase, closer to 7 runs per over now. So need to get some scoring going in these power play overs. Straight to the fielder there at cover, Isani Vaikela. So it's been a good start by Ritu Singh. She into the attack now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind it actually when Ritu came out to bat as well. She's quite clear on what her role is, and she is a hitter and was brought into this competition as a hitter. So it's great that she could go out there and sort of execute. That's going to be half a chance unless she's edged that, which she must have. But yeah, so I really enjoy it when I see, and it's quite clear what a player's role is. I think we saw Isani Vegela come out, and she immediately wanted to hit everything for 6 straight away. She did get one really good one at the end, but I would have loved to have seen, it's not just about hitting those boundaries, it's also about the rotation of strike in between so that it's constantly ticking over. It doesn't have to be the big shots. That's a really good single run right there. Great work, girls. But yeah, they've just got to understand that it's not just the big hits that we want. Constant rotation of strike, understand your plan, how are you continuing to move the field around and make scoring easier so that you can accelerate through to the end of the innings.
End of the power play, 14 without loss. Looking back at that power play, Julia, sort of, how do you assess how things have gone in those first 6 overs? And if you're coach of the Eastern Central Conference, how do you go about winning this game?
Yeah, well, firstly, power play, you want to be exposing the boundary. At the moment, you can see they haven't got anyone out on the boundary at all. So that's the role of the 2 players that are out in the middle, is to ensure that they're either pushing the field around or at least hitting 1 boundary per over is generally what's minimum. At the moment, they're just going for just over 2 and over. So it's probably not ideal. Much better there. Great running from the east. And that's what you want them to start doing, is probably start looking for those singles. The drop and runs, a lot of people think you've got to play a good shot to be able to get a single, but a drop and run actually starts to manipulate the field a little bit. It'll start pulling in that short cover and also the short mid-wicket, which makes it easier for the ball to also be hit past them if the closer they are to the bat.
And what do you think it says for the likes of someone like a Chetna Reddy to come in for the Western, open the batting for them, 2 brand new openers, and get runs? She got, a valuable contribution for her team, getting that 35 from 36 deliveries.
Yeah, and she's 13. That's what I really like about her, is the fact that she's got that really good intent. She seemed to have a fairly clear plan in her head about how she was going to go about scoring her runs. And there wasn't really a lot of confusion in there running between wickets as well. So I'm assuming, and we'll obviously talk about that later, about her communication with her partner out there, so that it's really important, as we mentioned before, when these teams are new and they haven't played together a lot, it's great to be able to get them really starting to talk to their partner out there and understand where their scoring areas are and how they're going about their plan. It really keeps them accountable. So that's what we're looking for at the moment.
And of course, ready with the ball in hand now, looking to find that first wicket Disha Dingra hasn't been able to score freely, but she's still there. 25 deliveries for 5.
Yeah, she probably needs to really have a bit of a look. You've got to keep an eye on that scoreboard and just make sure that you're keeping up with it. You're not getting the ball's getting too far away from your score all the time.
Quick single run. This will be risky, but it goes through the cover. Should come back for an easy second.
And that's good game awareness from those two. Though it was a sort of a bit of a risky run, but you need to be doing that at this stage of the game. If they're not scoring the runs, you need to start taking a few more risks. And by taking that risk, they put a bit of pressure on the fielder, and there was a misfield which allowed for the 2 runs. So a bit of a bonus there for the East.
And Julia, we would have heard from you earlier in that first game. Overall, what have you made of the Under-19 National Championships, the way they've started in these 2 encounters?
Well, what I've noticed is that the under-19s really get a lot of strength from the senior players. So a lot of the players that played last week seem to be a lot stronger and a lot more confident when they're out there with a lot of the senior players. Now that they're sort of with their own peer, you can see there's a little bit of, they've sort of lost their direction a little bit. The leadership out there is obviously, we've got younger leaders out there. Some of the field placements have been probably a little confusing, but generally what we want to start doing is getting our bowlers and our captains to start talking before even they get out there about what are their plans and how they're going to go about this. And primarily this tournament is about understanding to them to understand their game and other people's games and how they can continue to grow and understand how to be elite cricketers.
Well, 18 without loss after 7. You would think the Western Conference will be the happier of the 2 teams at this stage, posting that 111 for 4. Now to keep this run rate to just under 3 runs and over, so that required run rate now well past 7. And even though they've got the big hitting ability of Elisa Ramjit to come, they'll still need to, these 2 at the crease will need to sort of get going.
And that's really nicely played behind the wicket. She's had a quick look to see if she can get back for the second and decides against it.
The communication has been something that you've also spoken about throughout the national championships. How do you go about improving that, Julia?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, you can actually even start doing it in the nets, which might seem like an odd place, but it also encourages even the technique of running between wickets can be improved here. We really want to talk about the non-striker backing up a fair bit. It's really good to be able to discuss what your batting plans are when you're in the nets as well, and obviously out in the middle is the best place to do that. And that's a beautiful shot there for 4 runs. Just caressed, didn't really overhit that. And again, you don't need to lose your shape when you're trying to hit boundaries in this game.
Yeah, more of that required for the Eastern Central Conference. Disha Dingra, a quality young player. And that will relax her immensely in this innings. Obviously runs on the board, always puts pressure on that team chasing.
So now you can see that what they've done. They've got Anika, oh no, that's Sunny Vagela. She's pushed into a really tight catching position at sort of short extra cover. And to me, all that, oh, it's a
what a grab! That is outstanding. Leaping in the air, one-handed. We were just speaking about her young Chetna Reddy. And Julia Price, she's got to be very happy with that.
That is a magnificent catch. And the good thing about it is that they had a person in that catching position primarily for that sort of back foot drive. We've seen a few of them go in the air so far. And Disha Dingra really sort of works a lot airily off her legs when she's on her back foot. So potentially good opposition analysis there. They've really worked on her weakness and bowled into her pads there. So she's had to force that to the leg side. But great work there by the West. They've taken the wicket of Disha Dingra. Was just starting to get the feel for her run scoring out there, and she's been dismissed for 7 runs with a spectacular catch there at mid-wicket.
Well, Dingra actually gone for 11 to that boundary, so could be a big wicket for the Western Conference. Great catch though at straight mid-wicket. And in.
Thinking that catcher was Aditi Chudasama. I think that was her that took that at mid-wicket there, so great effort from her. Oh, no, it was Tia Gonsalves. So Tia's actually an Australian player that's moved over here about a year and a half ago and living in Houston now.
Yeah, Taranam Chopra in the middle for the Eastern Central Conference. It's a full delivery to start. I like the aggressive move, as you mentioned, to have Isani Vaikela there. And that could have also played a part on Disha Dingra's decision. Not wanting to hit that ball into the offside. Try to find the run scoring option in the onside. And in the end, a brilliant catch means that it's the end of Dingra. So not the ideal start to the Under-19 Championships for her. One's down the leg side. What about the extras, Julia? It's been 23 in the first innings.
Yeah.
We've already got 8 here.
Yeah, not ideal. Obviously, again, we're working with developing players. A lot of them, quite a few of these girls have been in our Under-19 national training group, which have had access to Bert Cockley, our strength and conditioning coach. And he's been working hard on trying to get them a little stronger. And while these players are still developing, there is that tendency that they will potentially, a bit of a wild throw there from Chetna Prasad. Pooja Ganesh does a great effort. Speaking of young developing players, 13-year-old behind the stumps, in getting these players a lot stronger to be able to cope with the rigours, particularly of bowling. I mean, there's a lot of stress that goes through that back leg. Got to get a lot of gluteal strength and hamstring strength, which a lot of these girls are still developing at this stage. So there is always a tendency to be quite a few extras in this sort of developmental age group.
Straight to the fielder. Could be a chance of a run out, but in the end, good pressure being applied on these fielders. But a good over for the Western Conference. Get the wicket of Disha Dingra. So at the end of 8, it's now 25 for 1. Just trying to rectify a few issues, but it definitely was Disha Dingra. Sayuni, the exciting young leg spinner. I'm telling you, leg spin is such a rare commodity this part of the world. Really great to see young Uni. And when she gets it on the money like there, Julia, she really is threatening.
Yeah, it looks like she's just taken it. She was a bit overpitched in the first game, but eventually once she started landing them, had some really good turns. So what she needs to do as a leg spinner is making sure that she attacks the stump so the batter has no option but to play the ball. Just overpitching that and down leg side as well. Isn't quite completing her action. Occasionally you can just put the ball there a little bit. She needs to keep ripping it and driving through with that back leg just to realign herself to the target.
Just trying to rectify some problems with the scoring, but it's 27 for 1. This is a full toss in the air. Chance of a catch goes through. I believe it's Annika Colin at the boundary. So it's really high. It's given 4. No ball, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think it was a no ball at all, but Anika Colin, the usual keeper, so I don't know how many catches she's taken in the outfield from here. But the batter's come down the wicket there, so no ball over the waist.
Yeah, got a good connection on it. That's one of the hardest things as a leg spinner, that control. Clearly, Sai Uni struggling a bit with that, but she's young. It will take her some time.
And that's what you want. You see that little turn of the bat too soon. Little front edge back caught and bowled to the bowler. Didn't quite carry for her. So a little bit lucky there from Taranam Chopra. Good feet. Now I've loved, even though she's just run right down the middle of the wicket there, I really like the feet of Taranam Chopra. We saw her, I saw her for the first time at the regionals in Morrisville on the east coast, and just played the spinners really, really beautifully. Naturally comes out with her feet. Just probably needs to not run quite down the middle of the pitch every time after she's played the shot, but she's a pretty exciting young player. 14-year-old.
Sweeps this one. Misfield at square leg means that they should get through for the one. 79 more runs required now from the 11 overs remaining. It's 34 for 1.
Much better field for Sayuni there. Just gave her a little bit of protection. Obviously, as you mentioned before, a leg spinning action itself is quite difficult to be able to control. So you really need to give your spinner a little bit of protection, just to make them feel a little bit more confident. And sometimes you do pick up the odd wicket from those over pitch balls. But I really like the fact that she's trying to pull back her pace through the air. She's got plenty of flight. Needs to use that front arm a little bit more through the crease. But certainly pretty exciting stuff. And we've just had a change of bowler at the southern end. It looks like it's Tia Gonçalves has come back on after opening the bowling earlier. Little off spinner had lived in Adelaide in South Australia. Moved over here about a year and a half ago. Good little bit of movement off the wicket there, and fielder's just missed that one. Unable to pick it up, but it's picked up in the outfield and beautifully thrown home. Just another 2, worked off the hip nicely. Again, got the 5-4 field for the off spinners. You can see a little bit of chat between. It looks like Asani Vagella's sort of assisting with the vice captaincy role today a little. Put one of the players out in the deep, still 5-4.
And you can tell just after the power play overs, the running between the wickets has got significantly better. It's much improved. Always good to see in terms of learning. This is why these national championships are in place. Is it more sort of the learning prioritized, or do you and the other administration want these females to actually win this tournament?
No, we definitely want them to win. Absolutely, we're always looking for that. But at the same time, it's not a win at all costs. It's certainly about giving opportunity to different players and rotating them, in their teams, so that they can play in different positions or where the selectors feel that they're most suited. But it also allows us. I mean, as October 2019, I think the ICC mentioned that they were going.
Miscommunication, chance of a run out, but in the end, the misfield assists them.
In October 2019, the ICC announced that they were going to have an Under-19 Women's World Cup, which is very, very exciting. So, of course, all the countries need to be starting to really provide great opportunities, particularly the associate member nations, which maybe hadn't really focused on sort of elite competition at this underage level. So, we're doing a really good job here at the moment. This competition's been great with all the ages competing together up until regionals, and then splitting them off into the best team for the senior nationals, and then then obviously anyone who's eligible in the under-19s for this national championships.
That Sistar Mortgage under-19, domestic pathway. But Julia, is it a case where these 28 young females are shortlisted for that 2023 World Cup, or is there an opportunity, as we end the over, for other under-19 girls around the country to break through?
Yeah, well, what we've decided, when we've originally named the Under-19 National Training Group, it was about girls that were actually eligible to be playing in the 2023 under 19 World Cup. So a lot of those girls weren't older than 17. This is an under 19 national championship, so what it's allowing is anyone in that slightly older age group who are now not eligible to play in the under 19 World Cup in 2023 get to play against their own peers still. They get those leadership opportunities, they get to be the senior players in this and really help through those girls that will be eligible in 2 years' time to play in that under 19 World Cup.
You need to continue. Using her feet. That's a big shot. There is a fielder in the deep and drops it. So not great. I believe it's snigged the ball at deep mid-wicket. Should have been taken regulation.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful ball there from Sayuni, and that's exactly why that player's out there. Beautiful. In fact, a magic shot from Aditi Chudasama there. She hit that really, really nicely, and Snigdha Paul unfortunately just could not hold on to it in the right position, set that field really nicely.
Another one in the air, and this time dropped again. They're just giving away the chances, the Western Conference. They're on top of things, but not helping herself. Sayuni can't be happy with that.
No, I wouldn't imagine she is overly happy with that, but at the same time, yeah, I'm sure no one ever means to drop a catch. And again, just an identified area that we need to really look at is, and this is very similar, in fact, to when I turned up in April 2019, we had a heavy emphasis on fitness and on fielding, and both of them are strongly related. So we really need to make sure that we're providing all these opportunities for these girls to be able to work on their fitness. This could be out. Oh, and she's very, very lucky not to be run out there for the second time today, Taranam Chopra. But yeah, by seeing these national championships, we can identify key areas of what they need to work on. And obviously, by playing in these games and playing more games, they will be doing more fielding and having more opportunities to practice their catching and ground fielding.
What I like about it is that Aditi Chudasama realizing the fact that, you know, the run rate is increasing, required of course, and taking the initiative. She did get that one off the middle of the bat, probably too well. Lucky to still be there, but interesting to see how she carries about this next 5 overs or so. If she can still bat, you never know. This could come down very close. Still got Lisa Ramjit, who's padded up in next. And if she gets going, she could also be detrimental to the Western Conference.
Yeah, she probably hasn't been batting as well as she would have liked. She did bat quite well in the first innings. Still a little bit slower than what she should be doing at her ability, and she has played at that senior level for a couple of years now. So, but one of the other things you can identify there is the fact that Aditi Chudasama has hit that beautifully out to sort of a cow corner, but that's the only player that's out there. So what we need to work on is that power hitting straight down the ground, which is in fact is what she's tried to do there, to her credit, but just bounces just short of the fielder at mid-on. We just need to keep working on where we're actually trying to hit these boundary shots and being a little bit smarter about how we're going about scoring our runs.
End of 11, it's 45 for 1. They require 68 to get from 55 deliveries. So the last 5 overs, they've scored up more than 6 runs per over, which is very encouraging. Taranam Chopra has brought that intensity with a run of ball 9. We're also going to have a change in bowling. Pooja Shah into the attack. Starts with a full toss, gets this one perfectly over mid-off. And now the momentum shifting, you would have to say, thanks to Aditi Chudasama. Put her down in the last over, making you pay now.
Yeah, and what I like is it seems that she's learnt from that mistake where she's hit it straight down someone's throat. And she got a second chance by the fact that Snigdha Paul couldn't hold on to the chance. So now she's trying to hit a lot straighter down the ground. Hit to space, hit behind the fielders that are up. And particularly if it's straight, if the ball's gone straight, that's exactly where you need to be hitting it. So great work there from Aditi Chudasama.
Good introduction for Pooja Shah. Goes full again. This one hit into the onside now. Finding the runs a lot more fluently. than where they would have started the Eastern Central Conference.
Yeah, it's a tough field she's bowling at the moment, particularly as she's bowling at the stumps, and she's got a 6-3. They have just brought Javon Aris across to a short 45. And again, I'm just not sure if the short position is what they need to be doing at the moment. Just at her pace, not that it's express pace, but at the same time, I'm not sure if that short 45 will be stopping the single there, so they may as well push her back onto the boundary so she can continue to attack the stumps. I like her line though. Really good work there from Aditi Chudasama. You can see these two. You saw Aditi just have a quick glance up at Taranam Chopra then, and good communication between the two of them. They're starting to get a bit of a run on here. They batted together in the regionals, as well as the intra-regionals, I think, from memory. So great to see that little drop and run, and they're actually making it look quite easy out there at the moment.
Flicked away off the pads. And they'll get 2. So this is turning out to be a really good over. Started with the boundary, then doubled up twice. So crucial. This could be sort of a game-changing over.
Yeah, and that was a little bit of a demonstration, I think, as to why I wanted to have that fielder deep on the leg side boundary. They've managed to run 2 on that. With a fielder coming in onto the ball, it would have only been the single. So, and the fact they've only got 1 fielder out at the moment, and we're in the 12th over. I mean, it's great that you can be attacking, but at the same time, I think it can be leaking runs.
Now, funny enough, I had a conversation with the coach of this Western Conference team, and the one thing he was disappointed with from his team's dominant 10-wicket win was the fact, exactly what you just said, Julia, not having more players in the outfield when they had the runs to play with, sort of to ensure you direct those boundary scoring options.
So they've just, dropped that player back. It's a little too late here, but well played. Playing it nice and late. I really like the way that Chopra plays, right underneath her eyes. Good control, but also good bowling here from Pooja Shah.
Yeah, very good to see some new faces involved.
Yeah, nice bowling then again by Pooja Shah. Just again, it's a good learning experience for these bowlers, just to understand it's not solely up to the captain to decide what the field is. And I'd really like a few of these players just to understand their own strengths and weaknesses, and particularly when she bowls just a slight fade in to the right-hander. I think that leg side probably needs to be protected slightly more. But pretty good over there from Pooja Shah.
8 overs remain, 57 required for victory. Just a small refreshment break. That current run rate still below 5. So will be pivotal that they increase that. They've already started in the last 5 overs. This partnership, a brilliant 32 from 27 deliveries. But because of that slow start, they sort of have a lot of work to do now towards the back end of the innings. How do you construct this run chase if you're the Eastern Central Conference?
Yeah, well, to me, I'd actually probably send someone in who's a bit of a hitter. Just try and break the shackles a little bit. It's a little sacrificial. It doesn't matter if it doesn't come off, but it's going to put you in a slightly better position. At the moment, they need 57 runs from 48 balls, so they're over the 6 that they're needing. They need more than just singles at the moment, so they just need to break the back a little bit here by finding a few boundaries. And now they've brought Snigdha Paul on. We know how well she's been bowling. Another good single that's out.
Yes, great fielding and great keeping as well. And just at the time when you think the complexion of this game was changing, with intense running between the wickets, boundary finding, a wicket goes down.
Yeah, that was great work there. And Taranam Chopra just looked short of a wicket of the crease for me. Just had the bat slightly in the air. But good fielding, good pressure work from the West. They needed to have that wicket.
efficient keeping behind the stumps.
So we've got Giudicca Kadali coming in now. I think Giudicca is a bit of a hitter. We were discussing the fact that whether they would open with her to take advantage of that power play, but I really like the fact that she's coming in right now and potentially be that person that we're just discussing of what role would they want. We'd want someone in there that can hit the boundary and find it regularly. So, and Giudicca can do that. Has been focusing a lot more on her bowling lately, and we can see that definitely. She's been outstanding in the last week or so. But this is where we need her batting to just step up a fraction and find that boundary, and she can be a very, very clean hitter of the ball.
Yeah, I think the captain still should have backed herself in the sense that, given what's happened, you have that momentum sort of shifting upwards. Lisa Ranjit is the type of player, yes, she takes a couple of deliveries to get in, but she's placed her shots yesterday in the nets. It was very impressive to watch, how she went about her batting. Very vivacious batter. So I think she could have sent herself. However, given an opportunity to Kadali, as you said, chance of a run out again, that could have been close.
That was tight, and I'm assuming that she was called through there by Aditi Chudasama. But what you want her off the mark straight away, which is great for her. You're talking about Lisa Ramjan at the nets yesterday. She did look really good at the nets, and I think there's that element of what you're doing in training is what you're going to try and do out in the middle. And to me, she's two different players at the moment. She's not quite doing what she's doing in the nets, so she needs to find that way of being relaxed out in the middle and just to focus on what her plan is and not let everything around her concern her. Another great shot there from Aditi Chudasama.
Yeah, it seems to be very prolific down the ground, Chudasama. And it'd be important that she doesn't give her wicket away by being run out. So, got to be sensible in the run calling.
So just pushing back their sweeper. They know that Kadali is quite strong with the drive.
Goes for a big heave across the line. Scamperton for another quick single. Put pressure on these fielders.
Yeah, I'd really like to see, though, Kadali really try and just hold her shape a little bit more. You can go out there and hit, but if she just holds her shape and hits back over the bowler's head, she's got the good power, she's got the timing. Just doesn't need to really go to the slog quite yet.
The Scamperton with a quick single. They're running well between the wickets. Direct hit and gone. That is a big wicket. It's the setback batter of Aditi Chudasama. Was that needed at this stage? You have to ask.
Probably was just that once or too many times she's taken on the fielder, and particularly when you think about it as a right-hander at mid-on, she's hit that pretty close to the stumps, so that she actually would be moving around and closer to the stump. So in fact, it makes it a much easier dismissal for the run out. So, but well batted there from Aditi Chudasama. Showed some good resolve, really showed some good intent. And you've got your wish now, Nikhil. You've got Lisa Ramjit coming in.
Yeah, very excited to see how Ramjit goes about now. This is a different situation. This run chase very much on. In that first game, she was batting first and lost wickets around her. So two relatively new batters at the crease. Chudasama gone for 21. Should be disappointed with that. It's 58 for 3. Well, I know you say about the fielding being an emphasis. Definitely the catching. But the amount of direct hits we've seen throughout the national championships and the under-19 championships has been impressive.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the throwing. It's just the catching needs a little bit of work. That's all at the moment. But at the same time, it's as we mentioned quite a few times, it's all a learning experience. Getting into the right position. How do you throw from different areas of the field? And just a little bit of that strength work that can be pushed over into the fielding side of the game as well as bowling and batting.
And got another one. The Western Conference fighting back, 2-2, going for the big swing. Stumps dislodged.
Yeah, that's just not smart batting, and you can see Giudicca Kadali as she's walking off here. Just practices the shot she probably should have played, which was nice and straight back over the bowler's head. She did just want to play across that one. The pitch isn't really bouncing a lot. Snigdha Paul bowling stump to stump, so If Kadali misses, obviously she's going to be taking out those stumps. So very disappointing there from Gitika Kadali, and also particularly for the East, just getting themselves into a little bit of a rut here, chasing this total down. To me, it looks like Bhumika Badriaju has come in, recovered quite well. She had a little bit of a knee niggle the other day and was out for a couple of days, but recovered well. We'll get to see her in action now with Captain Lisa Ramjet.
Yeah, fierce competitor Bhumika Badriaju. Love to see that battle with Isani Vaikela, who's actually now coming into the attack. So Vaikela wants a revenge after that last over where she hit Badriaju for a 6, and then very next delivery was stumped. So in comes Isani Vaikela. 7 overs remain. They still need 54 runs, so they'll need a good innings from Lisa Ramjet.
This is actually probably the best time for Lisa to come in at the moment, to really force her into, as you said before, she does tend to take her time a little bit getting into her innings, but I just think this should force her to actually continue to play shots, be a bit quicker in her adaptability of what her plan is when she comes out, find her space, and just really get into her innings.
Feel that deep backward square, just the 1 on the boundary. But now they send back the 3rd, just on the edge of the circle. So, Vaikela to Lisa Ramjet. You sense this will be a pivotal battle. Starts with a dot delivery. Love watching Isani Vaikela, even when, it's prior to an innings, Julia, and she's net bowling or catching. She just looks so focused.
This is the most I've ever heard her speak at this championship. She is really excited. She's really up and about. You can see how much she's loving just playing cricket day in, day out. She's nearly meant to be that professional cricketer. So it is great. And there's plenty of other girls that are keen as well, but she does just have that bounce about her, doesn't she, when she gets in there. You see she really wants the ball in her hand, and when it's batting time, she wants to be up the top of the order as well. So great to have her really driving this home. Key position fielder as well.
Yeah, certainly looks the part. Give her that. And obviously backing it with her performances. First at the National Championships and now at the Under-19 National Championships. Of course, brought to you by Sistar Mortgage. Full and on the money.
Yeah, much better areas there. We just talked a little bit about just tightening up her technique yesterday. She does tend to try and maybe bowl just that fraction too quick, which she's using her bowling arm way too much. So we've been just working on using that front arm just that fraction longer, taking it to her target, which means that she's going to get over her front leg and just be able to control her line a little bit better.
Played into the onside. I don't think she really needs that feed at deep backward square. She's not going to be trying to bowl short. So I'm kind of surprised that she's got that fielder in place. Giovanna Arras it is.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there. It's just not really going to be heading out there too much. She did bowl a little bit down leg, and potentially they're setting a bit of a field there for bad bowling. But I do like the way that she does shape the ball back very late, which can tend to get a few front edges, players turning the bat a little sooner. Great fielding there, mid-wicket. Sahani Thadani. Oh, no, that was Tia Gonçalves. Apologies.
Bhumika Badriaju. A lot of work to be done with the bat in hand for the Eastern Central Conference. It's on the leg side again. The extra is still a problem for the Western Conference. Really, that partnership was going so nicely. You would think that could be crucial for the Eastern Central Conference. The partnership I'm referring to between Taranam Chopra and Aditi Chudasama. But ends the first over from Isani Vaikela at the end of 14. Is 60 for 4. They require 52 from 37, so we've got to get a move on. These two at the crease. So it looks to be the spin of Sayuni back into the attack. Would have bowled her 2 overs a bit expensive, going for 7 runs. So can she get this wicket of Lisa Ramjet? She's trying to pump herself up for this occasion. Lisa Ramjet, you can see her jumping around, speaking to herself. Watches it. Initially played a mature role in that national championships, getting the player of the match in the last game. Just can't get this right, Julia. Player of the match. Cricket is changing.
It certainly is, and for the better. We've got Sayuni again on here, just taking the pace off that one, dragged back her length, starting to land them now. Just love the way she spins it in her hands at the beginning of the top of her mark. Very.
How old is she?
She's 13.
Wow.
I know.
Unbelievable.
I know, but she's got that real spinner about her. You can see that she's really wants to rip it. Just needs to keep working on what she's doing. Got a little bit of protection out there, just with the one fielder out at deep cow, which this ball may go directly down the throat of. Just the one bounce. Just been a little too full today. No real reason for it with regards. There's no extra wind around. And the spinners certainly have been wanting to bowl from that end.
Yeah, and you'll think if they're to get home from this position, Lisa Ramjet will need to feature mainly with the bat for this Eastern Conference run, a quick single, get through. I've been very impressed with the glove work of Pooja Ganesh. She's been impressive behind the stumps. Quick hands to whip off the bills for that run out.
Yeah, another 13-year-old that does pretty well. She also batted very well, I thought, as well today. So she plays in a lot of the underage boys competitions and dominates those. So it's good to see her in our pathway stuff now as she's turned 13. Yeah,
Ramjet looking to hit that one very hard. Miscues it, but still gets 2. So a good result for her. Watching this weather straight ahead. Should be done and dusted before that, though. Just 30 balls remaining in this innings. So at the end of 15, Julia, they require 48. Game on, would you say?
Well, I think they need to make sure there's a little bit of a partnership between these two here. They've got to make sure that they're rotating the stroke constantly. They don't necessarily need to be slogging, but I just want to see them come up with a little bit of a smarter plan than just hitting everything to leg side and trying to overhit things. They can just be a little smarter about it. Looks like we've got a change of bowler here at the southern end with Ritu Singh coming on for her final over. A little bit of an unusual action, but seems to be doing the job. Little off-cutters. Just starting to spread this field as they know that they can protect their boundaries a little bit more than they have been. Great hit down the ground with no long on, which is a bit of an interesting field placement in itself.
Surprising, just the 1 over for Isani Vaghela for the 2 runs. Taken out of the attack, Ritu Singh brought back in.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get a wicket here, just changing around. There's a tendency to want to change bowlers constantly to keep the batters a little unsettled, but I think it's pretty much unsettled already. I think they probably could use just having someone who's bowling pretty tight. Just turn the screws a little bit on this one. Put a lot more pressure on these 2 batters that are out there at the moment.
One thing that these young females will learn is dot balls build pressure. So the more you have someone consistently bowling that accurate line and length, it will result in wickets, especially when you're chasing scores in the range and need close to 8 runs and over now.
Yeah, generally once that reaches a 10 and over for an extended period of time, it can get quite tough for the batting team.
Well, I said 8. It's actually at 9.6 runs required. So Lisa Ramjet definitely will have to go big at some stage, you reckon?
Yeah, for sure. I'd really like to see the batters using their crease a little bit more, trying to change things on these bowlers. They all seem to just be playing from their crease at the moment. You saw Lisa Ramjet just sort of play around her front pad there, where in fact she could shuffle across with a back leg first, just to get in a slightly better position to be able to hit to this exposed long on sort of position. They've got a very wide long on down the field, which the ball actually just goes straight to, so well positioned maybe. Got the single. Going to need more than singles though if they're going to be any chance of chasing this total down.
Well, not bowling to her field on that occasion, and gets the desired treatment. So much needed off the bat of Lisa Ramjet. Excellent batting.
Yeah, and again, I just think that you could see that they were really trying to go to the leg side to be able to score these boundaries, and they haven't really responded with the field, the placements that they've got at the moment. Still got a 5-4 field, had the field up. The only person back they had was Anika Cole in a sort of a wide-ish long-on position. Now they're bringing the fifth player over just backward of square, and just that deep mid-wicket fielder is Giovanna Aris.
And as they develop, I'm sure you'll want to be focusing on being more proactive as opposed to reactive. We just saw that boundary being hit and a chance of a run out, and it's gone by some way. So Bhumika Badaraju, not sure why they had to go for 2 on that occasion.
Yeah, they probably didn't just judge that one quite well enough at that stage, but at the same time, putting the pressure, there are some risks that you got to take. They're getting a little too close to, we're moving into the end of the 16th over. They're still requiring over 40 odd runs.
Yeah, it was easy there. In walks Alicia Fernando. I was impressed with the way Fernando constructed her innings in that first game. These two at the crease put on a partnership. Can they do so again? They'll need it in a much more aggressive manner this time.
Yeah, and she's in a slightly tougher position this time as well. They were setting last time, so knowing that what sort of total they need to get does put a lot of pressure on the batting team, but at the same time it really allows them to focus on exactly how they're going to go about and get their runs and how hard to push it. So Lisa Ramjet being the senior batter out there, but as you mentioned, Alicia Fernando did show some promise in that first game this morning. It's like Sayu needs to continue far end.
Yeah, and I like this move to bring the leg spinner back into the attack. Even though she may be expensive, always gives you that opportunity to take wickets.
I really like her field as well. I like the fact that I think that she's actually taking control of her field and where it is at the moment.
Quick single scamper through once again, so Fernando off the mark straight away.
And again, clearly you saw Lisa Ramjet respond immediately there, so they've obviously had a little bit of a chat about, let's just get this moving, let's look for some drop and runs. Good communication.
These two run well between the wickets. Goes for the big heave. Ramjet into the onside. Fielder's out there, but she has no chance. Lisa Ramjet, could she turn this game on its head? Another boundary for her.
Yeah, an unusual misfield there from Sunny Vigela. She's normally all over those and just could not stop that one. Just dived over it a little bit, so good shot there by Lisa Ramjet. Probably lost her shape a little bit, could be going a little straighter, but got the desired result. Just a change of action here coming around the wicket, which is interesting for a leg spinner. If this was the case, I'd definitely be putting a sweeper out on that offside. Be interesting where she's trying to bowl here. It's coming around the wicket at her legs.
Most of the bowlers and they're the square leg fielder. So Sayuni. It's been an expensive start. 5 runs from the first 2 deliveries. We'll make that 6 from the first 3.
You see the ground staff start to drag the covers out. We just hope they can just hold on for this rain just for a couple more. Oh, very unlucky Alicia Fernando did for the East that she wasn't run out. Just a little bit unaware of where the ball was at that stage.
You can see that rain coming in the distance, though, Julia. So we're hoping that you can, just give us a couple more overs.
Still have 35 runs required off 22 balls. They're still in this.
And I think Anika Colin, the captain of the Western, will be aware. Fernando goes big again, this time into the vacant mid-wicket region. A lot of work for Isani Vakela to be doing out there.
Just don't really understand this field. I mean, if you don't need 6 and over, I'd be putting, if singles won't win it for you, I'd be putting all 4 of my fielders on the boundary somewhere. They've got people in catching positions. They're being very aggressive, and probably unnecessarily so.
Yeah, food for thought. Alicia Fernando goes for the big strike, unable to connect.
And you can see Alicia Fernando just eyeing off that vacant space between Long On and Cow there.
End of the 17th. 32 required from the last 3 overs. Need to go out over 10. It's 80 for 5. So Isani Vakela. Clearly there was some thinking behind the move to just allow her to bowl the 1 over. Come back in crunch time. Can she get this wicket of Lisa Ramjit? Really like the look of Lisa Ramjit as a young player. I think she's got a bright future ahead of her, both with ball and bat in hand. She showed out at those senior women's national championships. Continuing to do so here with the bat. 15 ball 15. On the money though, great bowling from Isani Vakela. You tend to see a change in pace from Vakela.
She has got a change of pace, just doesn't bring it out too often, unfortunately. We actually discussed also, we'd been working on that sort of delivery wide of the crease and taking the ball into the stumps and then swinging it away late, which causes a lot of problems. So today it just looks like she's just sort of banging it in, trying to get her length right. Her line's been a lot better, I feel, than using that front arm a lot better.
Full having to reach. That's good bowling though, wide of the crease. Making Fernando reach. Singles can't win you the game at this stage.
There's probably no real need though for the straight fielders to be up. To me it looks like Alicia Fernando is wanting to hit straight, so I'd be just setting them all back, giving her the 1. Maybe dragging out the finish a little, but at the same time, it's if you're getting the win, you're getting the win.
Ramjay goes again, has to hurry. Just there in the end. And Julia, the standing umpire Ivy Mahabir, in her first game on the first USA cricket game, how have you rated how she's gone about?
Yeah, she's been fantastic. I haven't really even noticed her too much, which generally is a compliment to an umpire. If you haven't really noticed them, they've seemed to kept this game moving. And and no real howlers as well. So I think they've been doing a great job, both of the umpires today. And also great to have a female umpire there, a bit of a role model to a lot of women out there that may want to take up umpiring. I know that the USA Cricket had not long ago actually put up a women's umpiring course free of charge for anyone who wanted to register.
Well, I don't know if it's my eyes deceiving me, but I'm sure. Quick run, gone! Great fielding. I tell you, the throwing and keeping has been immaculate from the Western Conference. They needed to take that quick single. And it's the big wicket of Lisa Ramjit trying to get back on strike. She's got to go.
Yeah, I thought she might have made that then, but clearly she was out. So great effort there, like you said, from the West. They've been very, very good in the field after a few little mishaps and a few little misfields, but generally pretty good in the field. And it looks like we may be coming off for a bit of rain. We've got Milton Taylor heading out there in his truck.
Well, I can tell you, Julia, what I was saying before that delivery, I knew my eyes didn't deceive me. I saw this bright flash, but no one else seemed to see it. And you can see in the distance the lightning alarm going off. So very unfortunate. After such a good game of cricket, we were boiling down to the finish, an exciting one. And maybe Duckworth Lewis will come into play. Let's hope not. So 28 required off 15 deliveries with that wicket.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing there. They're just starting to get a little bit of momentum, and obviously Lisa Ramjet won't be overly happy. She's been run out and then they go off the field. So, but good pressure again, like I said, from the West. The East battling hard, trying to get their, trying to find the space, trying to find some boundaries. But the bowling from the West has been outstanding.
And we also know the impact of a wicket in the Duckworth Lewis as well, so not ideal for the Eastern Central Conference. So look at the scorecard. Well, Aditya Chudasama was really good at the top of the order. Lisa Ramjit continued her good work, but now was dismissed for 17. And for the bowling, well, it's been a superb effort. Snigdha Paul just the one over, getting a wicket. Ritu Singh, 1 wicket as well. And pretty much economical from all the other bowlers. So don't go too far. We haven't had any rain as yet. It's just about the lightning. Hopefully we can be back very soon to have the resumption and the end of this innings. But the Eastern Central Conference required 28 more for victory.